Good morning, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I'm going to show you a fun technique that I did on these two cards, actually a couple different techniques using the Unity mirror stamping tool, some Distress Oxide inks, and the beautiful You Are Forever Beautiful stamp set from Unity. I tried several different ways. I'm going to show you my two favorite ways to do this technique and then kind of explain some of the other ways that I tried. I'm using Distress Oxide ink, and instead of trying to pat it on this mirror stamping tool, first of all, I laid it face up on my desk and I just kind of swiped it across so you get a little bit of a texture and a pattern on it. I'm inking up that floral arrangement. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black Pigment ink. I tried a few different inks and I really liked the pigment ink best with this technique. Now that I've got that, carefully set it in place, gently push, making sure not to slide it around, and then place your white cardstock on top and carefully just press all the way around to make sure you have a smooth impression. And see how you kind of get a soft, just kind of a fun effect. And then I'm cleaning that off with a damp cloth. I'm not worrying about cleaning it perfectly right now because I'm going to be doing this again, but you notice it all comes off pretty easily just with my damp cloth. All right, the second technique on this, I'm going to do pretty much the exact same thing, only I'm going to ink it up with that ink the same way as I did before, just kind of swiping it across to get a good bit of ink on there. And then I'm going to stamp that flower on there again, also with the pigment ink this time, that same black pigment ink. But this time, before I set my white paper on there, my white cardstock, I'm going to grab a bottle of water and I'm going to mist just a tiny bit of water. I just do a soft mist and then don't let it sit too long. Otherwise, I notice the ink kind of tends to bead up a little bit. So I quickly press my white cardstock on there, and you'll notice you get a totally different effect with this. Kind of just a different artsy effect, and I like the feel of both of these. I couldn't decide which one I liked better. Now I'm going to show you some of the other things I tried. Feel free to experiment. Maybe you have more ideas of different combinations than what I came up with. But again, these were my two favorites. The other ways that I decided to try and do it, I stamped it. These were in different color ink, so those are both the same technique I just showed you. This one, I tried the same thing with the Gina K Designs ink, and the water. You notice you kind of got a soft, reflective impression, but it didn't pick up the black at all. And I think it's because it's waterproof for working with watercolors. This one was another one that I didn't mind. I didn't like it quite as loose, but that one I stamped on with the Distress Oxide and misted with water again. So again, that was kind of a neat effect, but I felt like it blurred the image of the flower a little more than I liked. And then this is the same with that Distress Oxide, just without the water. And again, that worked, but I liked the little bit darker impression you got with the black. But depending on what you have and what you have available, I'd love to see different ways that you might decide to try and play with this technique. Thanks so much for coming by today. Have a wonderful day.